Hi everybody, I'm doing something really different this time. I am not in the inchworm. I am not in a car. I am in my Chrysler Town and Country micro camper that I just tricked out. And I am going on my first solo camping trip. That's right. I'm 60 years old. I have never been camping alone. I have camped with my parents. I have camped with friends. Camped a million times with Joe. Camped with my kids. But I've never camped completely alone. And I'm not going to really be alone. It's not like I'm boondocking in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to be in a state park. And I figured that a state park would be a pretty good place to get my feet wet. I have been married since I was 18 years old. I basically went from living with my mom and sharing a room with my sister to living with Joe and sharing a room with him. When I was 22, we decided to go to college. We went to college together. When I graduated, we had been married for 7 years, and I started having children. And I have 5 children. I have 2 sets of twins and a single child. He's the oldest, the single. And now I take care of my granddaughter, and I help take care of my 90-year-old father. So I just haven't had much time to be by myself. I started watching a lot of older women who camp or even live on the road. And some of them are in really fancy RVs, and some are in Class Bs, and some are doing it out of minivans. Anyway, I'm happy to be on the road. I'm happy to start this new adventure, and so we'll see how it goes. The star attraction at Fontainebleau State Park, at least for me anyway, is the Spanish moss adorning the trees, giving them the appearance of a wise old crone. Nothing whispers Southern Gothic like the gray tendrils dripping with darkness, longing, and mystery. Contrary to its name, Spanish moss is not a moss. It's a bromeliad, like pineapples and those little air plants that are all the rage. It's not a parasite, it's an epiphyte, getting its nutrients from air, rain, and minerals leaching from the bark and foliage of the plant it's living on. It's mostly harmless, though occasionally it will grow so thick that its plant's foliage can't get enough sunlight, but that's rare. The legends surrounding the creation of Spanish moss add to the Gothic aura. One of my favorites involves a ruthless pirate who had his sights set on the beautiful daughter of a Casabo chief. To avoid a skirmish between the pirates and the Casabo and the possible death of her father, the beautiful princess made the pirate an offer he couldn't refuse. If he could catch her, she would be his. After a long chase in which it almost seemed as if she wanted to be caught, the pirate spotted her in a large live oak. She called to him, and he began to climb until he could almost touch her in the small branches in the top of the tree. It was then that the princess jumped from the tree into the river below. When the dread pirate went to jump in after her, the tree did not let him go. His long beard became tangled in the branches, and he remained there, his beard growing and growing long after he died. And that's how Spanish moss got one of its other common names, pirate's beard. In the day-use area, there's a short trail that winds through the cypress and live oaks, both favorites with Spanish moss. The lake is on one side of the trail, and a small marsh is on the other. So many red-winged blackbirds. Mm. Ooh. The next morning, I relaxed in my van with a cup of coffee and then went out for some hiking. These are the remains of a sugar mill owned by Bernard Xavier de Marigny de Mandeville, who founded Mandeville and whom the Faubourg Marigny is named after. Faubourg is just a fancy French way of saying suburb, and Faubourg Marigny is a neighborhood in New Orleans, mostly referred to as the Marigny. This whole park sits on land once owned by Marigny, who named it Fontainebleau, after a beautiful forest outside of Paris. Some beautiful old brick. After lunch, Teresa, one of my oldest and dearest friends, showed up with her daughter Catherine and her daughter's dog Teddy to do a little hiking. Teresa takes amazing photographs, especially of birds, so I'm going to put a few of those right here.
I love that tree too.
Yeah.
like it has more moss than leaves. It's really cool.
After we hiked around Fontainebleau, Teresa and Catherine introduced me to North Lake Nature Center, where we hiked even more. Teresa, Catherine, and Teddy headed back across Lake Pontchartrain towards New Orleans, and shortly afterwards, I hit the hay. Well, right now, I'm sitting in the van. Well, I'm kind of laying here because I was reading, and I've got my side door open with a screen. It's a makeshift screen. It's a it's a piece of tulle, but I have it tucked up in there so the mosquitoes can't get in. I had it last night, but a couple got in, but I've got it sealed even better tonight. So I'm just laying here, and I'm getting to look outside the door, and there's been some fireflies, so it's been really nice. I'm just going to give you my conclusions of my first solo trip. Camping in this camper, this little mini camper, is really easy. The only hard thing about this camper is going to the bathroom, and I think I've got it pretty much fixed and set up properly for that. I have an igloo, one of these new igloo ice chests. Oh, Overland. The ice really held well. I froze a big block of ice, and it's still pretty frozen. The littler cubes that I brought from my refrigerator have just about all melted. The first morning, my yogurt was so cold it was frozen, so I mean, that's pretty incredible. That tells you how good that ice chest is. So it can last a whole weekend for sure. My 3 gallons of water, I might have 3/4 of a gallon left, maybe. I drink a lot of water. I used it to wash dishes. I'm not sure if I will hang on to the 3 gallon or get a 5 gallon or 2 3 gallons, but I think 1 5 gallon is just so unwieldy. I don't want to have to carry, I don't think I could pick up a 5 gallon jug. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. Keep my 3 gallon because, you know, I can always refill it. Sleeping. I need a mattress on my bed. The mattress situation, I'm just sleeping on top of a sleeping bag, and it's not enough for my hips and my arthritis. But the second night I put in my mosquito screen, and so I could keep the window open, and I slept so much better. And at night there were fireflies, and it was great. So yeah. Oh, and then yesterday, my friend from childhood, one of my very all-time very best friends, Teresa, came, and she came with her daughter, and her daughter's precious, adorable little dog. That is the cutest, I swear that dog is the cutest dog ever. Anyway, and he did so good. He's a little tiny dog. He is a Yorkie poo, and he managed to keep up with us hiking. He was held a little bit, but he's, you know, a lot of times little dogs are pretty fragile. He was a little toughy. He did good. I was impressed. So they came, and we did a lot of hiking. We sat on the beach for a while, and that was nice. So I wasn't, you know, my full day here, I wasn't really very lonely. And when they left, I sauteed some shrimp to go with my Thai coconut mushroom soup, and I had some kimchi pancakes, and so that was a good meal before that, I had a big old salad that day. But I forgot a lot of things. I forgot most of my seasoning, but I had limes and lemons and garlic. It's really all you need. But anyway, I'm on my way home. I'm fixing to put my map in, and that is my conclusions of my first solo trip. And Marnie did great. She started up this morning, and we'll see how she does on the drive home. Thanks for hanging out.